Hello and welcome everyone. I'm Salam Saloom and I'm a postdoctoral researcher at the Qatar Biomedical Research Institute. I would like to thank you all for attending this webinar from our series of QBRI talks for early career researchers. In this webinar series, we explore valuable tips, lessons, and unique career stories to inspire young researchers. If you missed our previous webinars, you can watch the recording on the HPKU YouTube channel. A couple of housekeeping rules. The microphone of all attendees have been muted, but we encourage you to submit your questions using the Q&A tab. If you are using a mobile device, you will find the Q&A tab by clicking on the circle with the three dots as shown here. Please direct your questions using all panelist option to make sure that your questions are visible to us. The webinar will be recorded and a link will be shared with you in a couple of days. So today we have a very interesting and trending topic, which is about the power of networking. In today's webinar, our speaker will highlight the importance of networking, which is one of the best tools to look for a career move and to learn more about the industry and about yourself. We will go through the essential benefits of networking to build a successful professional career. With this, I would like to welcome our speaker, Javier Cuesta, who joins us today from Los Angeles, California. Javier has an engineering background, a Master of Science in Materials Engineering and Master of Science in Chemistry. He is a member of the IC Executive Coaching Team with more than 12 years of experience in executive search, advisory, and career coaching. Javier worked with companies and executives in Europe, US, and Latin. He provides a unique perspective in the executive search and advisory industry, and he also shares career strategy post videos and ideas on Twitter, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Javier, welcome, and thank you for accepting our invitation to talk to us. We will hand over to you now for your presentation. The control is yours now.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us this morning, this afternoon, tonight. Today, we're going to be talking about the power of networking. Networking is a tool that we heard a lot about it, but most of the times we don't know what is the concept behind it. And today I'm gonna try my best to give you some good ideas for you to have a good understanding of how we could use it for for the success of your professional career. As Salam was saying, I'm part of ESA executive coaching team. I'm also the managing partner at Bedford & Bailey, a company that specializes in talent management. And then I think my differentiation is that I have experience in managing talent across the globe, mostly in EMEA and the Americas. And it's, I consider myself as a cultural bridge between oceans, between countries. Because not only working internationally, but also working in a different culture that gave me this understanding of both cultures and understanding of both the job markets. Today, we're going to focus a lot on the job market, the highly unemployed job markets like Latin America or some Southern Europe, or the low unemployed markets such as the Anglo-Saxon countries or Northern Europe or Arab Emirates, where the unemployment is very, very low, and it's a very dynamic environment where you can you get lots of job offers, but you don't have that many candidates. It's what we call a candidate driven market, while if you are in highly unemployed market, that would be a company driven market. Okay. As many of you, I'm also a scientist. even though I didn't spend that much time in the lab or on doing research. I have masters in materials engineering and a master's in chemistry, and I also provided some of my social media. LinkedIn, that is the best tool it's one of the best tools, and we're gonna go through it for networking. Twitter, and then YouTube. I have my channel that I will feel free to subscribe. I think I share good ideas about professional careers in Spanish and in English. How to develop, how to make decisions, how to negotiate salaries, how to get your first job right after the degree or the master that you got or the PhD. So hope you find it useful. So the whole concept of all of this is that most of the times what we don't know is that the job market is kind of like an iceberg. We only see the tip. We only see the posted job offers, but there's a lot beneath the ocean. There's a lot that we don't see, and that's the majority of jobs that they are out there, but we don't have access to online, at least. Actually, at the middle management level, supervisory middle management, only 40% of the job offers are posted. So, what most of us we do is we apply directly. We customize a resume. We see we have connections there in the company, and you send the resume directly to them to see if they can refer you internally. And that's that is a good strategy, but it's not networking. We're gonna differentiate in what is networking and what is not. And then understanding that you apply to most online jobs, then basically what we need to understand is that the application is only valid for online jobs, right? Online applications only valid for online jobs. So there's a lot of applications that can't be online, but just seeing an ad and then clicking on the apply to job and then attach your resume. Sometimes it is you need to get there, and we're gonna see what are the different tools and what are the best ways to get to that hidden market. At a specific level, general manager up, just I would say 2 to 5% of the jobs are posted. The rest are hidden jobs. So basically, what we need to conclude is that the only way that we can get into the hidden market is by using networking and recruiters, either internal recruiters or external recruiters from companies like recruitment consultants or headhunters. They are the best way to get to the hidden market. So I think we're going to get deep into this, but our goal is to get to the bottom of the iceberg. I think that's where we need to discover. So right now I'm going to tell you what is networking and what is not. Networking is a win-win relationship between two professionals who has something in common. Sometimes we have to deeply understand this, because this is not I have an interest or I have a need and you help me. Networking is an open mind type of experience where you're going to be learning about someone else and you're going to be sharing about yourself. The two of you can add value to the conversation, and the two of you can provide knowledge, experience, and a lot of different things to the other. And we have to get to a networking meeting with that mentality. Okay. To have something in common, it is, it could be so many different things. Obviously, it could be family and friends, people, first connections, but it could also be people that they have worked at the same school and and the business school or company. I'm not saying the ones that you had lunch with, or the ones that you study a PhD with. I'm just saying everyone that's been in the same organization or has studied the same certification or the same training that you did at any given point of in life. It could be 10 years before, 5 years later than you. They have something in common. And then obviously, and this happens a lot to people who we are living out of our countries. There's a lot of common areas that you can get with people that have the same nationality, the same language, or that just have common connections. You don't have to be out of your country to have common connection with someone that you don't know. But basically, I always say, the same example, right? When I'm in a restaurant, I'm from Spain, from Madrid. I'm in a restaurant in Madrid, and I know, and I listen to the table right next to me, and I listen to their conversation, and they're talking Spanish, and I stand up and I tell them, I ask them, hey, are you from Spain? They would kind of, that would be an awkward situation, because all of them, they are from Spain. So my thing in common with them might not be that we are from Spain. But if I'm in the middle of America, North America, and then in another restaurant, everyone's speaking English, but then I found a table that's speaking Spanish with the same accent that I have, and I go to them and I say, hey, are you actually from Spain? Then there's a connection where the two of us just normalize a situation that in Spain would have been awkward, but here in the US definitely connect us at another level. And we start talking about family, we start talking about our experience internationally. We start talking about how our families are and how has been our experience in the US. So by doing that, we normalize a lot things that usually are not normal. So we need to understand what we have in common with someone that could at some point could be helpful for us, or we could be a good help for them. I also provided a couple of examples of what not networking is. You can connect to people, but you can't connect to people by sending their resumes. Then the position is, I'm asking you for a favor, you're making me a favor, and it is not like that. You're not supposed to. Your resume doesn't add value, and you're asking for help. Obviously, one of the consequences of networking is that they can help you, but the approach should be different. It is not, I'm asking you, you're giving me. It is a win-win relationship. It is an equal relationship between two professionals that have something to offer. In a conversation, you don't have to offer your resume. You have to offer your experience, your ideas, your background, your knowledge about the specific concept, your connections, so we have to go with that mentality. And then secondly is that, sometimes most of the people, what they think networking is just go to your telephone agenda and see who is there, and try to call, hey, by the way, I'm looking for a job. I am completely free to start whenever I want. Just I'm gonna share with you your resume. That's a different concept. That is basically doing a sales prospect of yourself, but it's not a networking, because the other person is not sharing. You're asking for a favor. So we have to differentiate very well between what is a sales prospect and what is a networking relationship. And by the way, your resume without any customization doesn't mean anything. So it is definitely not worth it, and it's very has low efficiency if you don't customize your resume. This is not a volume game. It is a quality game. So I don't care if you send 100 resumes in 10 minutes if you don't customize it, because most likely you're not going to get the response. And the reason being is that it's very difficult to summarize your 10-year, 5-year, 1-year experience in just one sheet of Microsoft Word. So everything needs to be customized to what is relevant for the person who is reading your resume. That's the reasoning behind it. What are the best tools that you have to find your network? LinkedIn by far is when it comes to the professional job market. LinkedIn is the best. It's one of the best tools. In LinkedIn, you have different codes and different connections. Your first degree connection, that means that you guys are connected. If you're second degree connection, that means they have connections in common with someone else. And then if you're third degree connections, you mean that you don't have any connections in common, but once you get into the network, your network expands a lot. So there's and I could provide a seminar on LinkedIn on how to customize your profile and what studies do you need to put in place in order to be efficient and networking or finding a job. But there's an excellent tool on LinkedIn to find people in your network. You can find for people of your past company, of your business school, or of a school that you receive a training or certification on. You can look for people for a specific industry for the current company and the past company, as I was mentioning before. You can find people from the headhunting industry. You can find internal recruiters as well, and it's just a matter of working a lot with the search tools and working a lot with the codes and ensuring you get a list of 200, 300 people that could be valuable for your purpose. Social media, of course, is a great way to find people that you have common interest. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. There are a lot of people that they have fake that they don't. Twitter is not basically the best tool, as most of the people they are not themselves. They have someone that they are managing their account, or basically they don't disclose their identity. So I would recommend Instagram, Facebook as the next two social media after LinkedIn. That could be great. And then your alumni website right now, not only business schools, but also a lot of companies that get into alumni website. And the alumni website, that is the framework that you need to actually discover that you have something in common with someone else. So on that end, it is a very simple way to don't try to introduce yourself and present what you have in common. You guys are part of the alumni network website of the company, the business school, and you just have to say hello. Hey, by the way, I saw that the two of us, I'm the 2021 year promotion, and you are from 2016. What a great experience studying at or what a great experience working at company X or company Y. So the alumni websites, that is basically, it's getting more and more common and more popular. The common goal is to kind of have an identity, a sense of belonging to something, and that's why people could connect that easily in those networks, right? So make sure that you maximize the most. And now, later on, I'm gonna tell you how to introduce yourself or how to prepare a network meeting. So why networking is so important for when looking for a job? So one of the things that not everyone knows is that over 50% of the companies have a referral program in place. That means if you refer to someone that they have something in common, that him or her, that you've seen him work in a work environment, or just doing a scientific project together, and you refer this person to the company, they'll give you a bonus. Sometimes it could be Most of the times it's just $1,000, but it could go up to $5,000. So that's a great incentive for everyone to refer people. Why referrals are so important, so powerful? Because it's a great way to validate a new hire. There's nothing better to say like, hey, look, I know Salam or Hamad, and I know that he's a great, that would be a great addition to the team. I've known him or her for a while, and I worked with him. He's a team builder. He has a great spirit, and he's very creative. So I think it's perfect. It's ideal for the role. And just by doing that, saying that to the hiring manager, that is a extremely powerful tool. So all of them, they have a financial incentive. There's a referral program in place, and then the hiring manager would actually absolutely, invest his or her time to interview the guy, because he was referred by someone that he trusts and that he works, that he or she works with him or her. And basically it improves company culture, and creates a smooth transition during onboarding, to the point where, the first week, you just need to be with your colleague or your referral, and have lunch with everyone, and he's going to be introducing you, and he's going to be kind of your ambassador in the company. He or she got an incentive, a referral. Most of the time the referral is, you give half of the bonus at the start, and then half of the bonus after 6 months. So that also would generate some coaching and mentoring type of relationship, where the person that has referred to you, it's going to be introducing you to everyone, make sure that he or she trains you on what the company culture is, and that helps to create a very solid company culture, and a very smooth transition during onboarding. So this is the secret behind it. As I mentioned, generates a coaching bond between referral employee, a coaching mentoring board, a bond, meaning that during the recruitment process, he's going to be coaching you with all the interviewers. Hey, look, the hiring manager is like this, like this, like this. She is very process oriented, or it's all about quality for her, or it's all about open communication. She enjoys playing sports. She loves movies. So he or she will actually kind of present the hiring manager, and not only on the professional but also on the personal side, so you can connect with them better, and it's gonna definitely help you during the recruitment process. And then coming back to the validation, right? If a company A already hires someone from a specific school or degree or company, it would make the following hires much easier, right? So if someone from Qatar Biomedical Research Institute has been hired at a specific company, and you reach out to that guy with a networking approach, saying, hey, by the way, I saw that you are working at a company. Wow, what a great company. I would love to work with you guys, and I would like to know your experience. I would love to talk to you and get to know you, and get to share our experience. What is the best time and day to get on the phone, or to do a video call, or to get some coffee? And just by being very simple and straightforward, and sharing what it's important, that networking is about sharing. Hopefully you can get a network meeting, and out of that meeting, most likely, if you ask at the end of the meeting, what I need to do to actually get into this company, he or she, there's going to be a 95% possibility that he or she naturally will actually help you. And when it comes natural to other person, just the bond, and if the other person doesn't feel that he or she is doing a favor, but it's just doing itself because he or she really believes in the win-win relationship, the power there is just incredible. So have that in mind. How we generate a meeting. So, again, going to the same point, networking meetings always sharing experience. There's no space for pitching. This is not usually a sales meeting that has an icebreaker. Then you guys talk about what your company does or what you do at the business school or whatever, and then you try to close the meeting with a sales pitch or whatever whatever your goal is. Networking has so many different goals. Obviously, I'm focusing here in the job market and how to get a job in the job market, but networking is a great learning tool. You can learn a lot from other people experiences, from other people certifications, from other people connections, from other people ideas, from other people approach to life. So all of that is going to be very important for the to understand during the interview, during the meeting. This is not about pitching. It's about sharing your experience. Here's my experience. This is what I've done. I would love to listen to you and get to know you better, and be very aware of what are the things that you can bring up to help the other person you have in front. And if to help is, it could be, let me introduce you to X, Y, or Z, or let me see if I have someone that I can introduce you to, or let me see, I'm gonna send you information about the certification training I did. It is incredible experience. Or let me see which company you were referring to. I'm gonna send you a list of all those companies. Or it could be so many different things. Okay, as I was saying, create a simple email with the things you have in common. Hey, John. I saw that we went to the same business school. What a great coincidence. I actually enjoy my experience a lot and would like to know how your experience has been after the school, and share new ideas to see what it comes out of that. What are the best times and days to get together? One of the things that we need to understand is that to get good results, this is this is a volume game. The same way that when it comes to sending your resume is not a volume game. This is a to get the networking meetings is a volume game. It's kind of the funnel effect, where you send 100 emails and 25 or 30% they would use the tool, they would be open to get to connect to you, or they would be responding. Some of them they would respond saying like, I'm not interested, but some of them they do. So out of 100 connections that you've done, you can do 15 solid networking meetings. If you do 50, you can do 7 or 8. And just having a networking meeting is very, very powerful. It could be a life changer. So on that end, I just recommend that all of us we go into the volume game, into the numbers game, and get to reach out to as many people as possible. Usually, networking, the first meeting is a little bit difficult, but once you get into it and you see the power, and you see the how many things you get, it will come naturally to you. Networking has a lot of long-term and mid-term effects, but also can have some very, very powerful short-term effects. So when looking to generate your job after your PhD or your master's, you could actually start 1 year before, but you could start 1 month before what your goal is. So with that being said, just have a time frame in mind, and set up yourself to meet the goals that you're looking into. Okay, and then put a plan in place. Always ask questions with what, how, when. I don't know if what I need to say is that ask questions with what, how, and when, or never ask yes or no questions. Are you interested in talking to me? That would be a yes or no. That doesn't create openness. That doesn't create space space to share. So try to avoid as much as you can for networking purposes the yes or no question. You need to open the space. Actually, during a network meeting, I rather prefer to use what, how, when than why. Why usually demands an explanation, and uh, we are not here to explain to have other people explain what they did and why they did it. We are people here to share what they have and how what they have could actually impact at a given point to a company. So the what, how, and when always open the space for sharing knowledge. Okay. Um, so you know, I think I believe that networking is a very powerful tool. I just want to keep it simple. Obviously, now I would love you to ask any questions that you might find relevant for your purpose, for your goal. Networking is a proactive way to approach the market that will differentiate yourself and will have very powerful results. There's a lot of different cases, casuistics, and situations, and each of those will have a different strategy. But at the end of the day, to all of them, networking is completely transactional, will help you a lot no matter what. So definitely looking forward to hearing your question, to answer any potential questions that you may have for me, and we'll see from there.
Thank you very much, Javier, for this great presentation and all your valuable tips and tricks. I really found them like very useful. We will soon begin the Q&A session. I would like to remind our audience to please direct their questions to all panelist option to make sure that these questions are visible to us. So before we start our Q&A, Javier, can you tell us how, given your engineering background, you ended up being an executive coach?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I'm happy that you asked that question. Well, so myself, I started my career in 2008. So that was with the biggest financial crisis that the Western countries did have in quite a while. So I finalized my 2 degrees in, well, my 2 masters in chemistry and materials engineering. And then I did an internship at a company called 3M in a lab as a project engineer. I was dealing with polymers and you know, doing a lot of work there in terms of analyzing the mechanical, physical properties of the different polymers and how to, you know, melt them and to get the best out of them. So I came back to Spain in 2009, and in 2009 the world was basically collapsing. The the job market was collapsing. The unemployment rates were skyrocketing, and at that time I've never been a headhunter before. I started being a headhunter, so I applied to a couple of roles at a company called Michael Page, and they got me into an interview process, and they asked me if I wanted to start as a human resources consultant there, engineering consultant in the engineering and in industrial division. So at that time, you know, all manufacturing was moving out of Spain, or the majority of the manufacturing was moving out of, or it was going to Eastern Europe, or you know, there was a lot of company shutdowns and stuff. So that's how it started in human resources. So you know, then you know, I started becoming more and more proficient and getting to know more about, you know, talent in companies, not only the talent acquisition but also talent management, how to get the best out of the people that you are surrounded by. I came to the States. That helped me a lot to expand new ideas and to develop myself professionally and personally. The international career, by the way, that would be another webinar, but I would always recommend anyone. It's not the same to do, even though we can do remote right now, it's not the same to do work with other countries that to actually live in another country. So definitely will be, this is out of the webinar, but, feel, always be open to international experiences. So my US experience really helped me. And, as an natural transition, I became an advisor, and then I started coaching people. Coaching is different than advising, is different than consulting. But it was kind of a natural transition that gives me a lot of different tools to do active listening to help my clients, whether they are executives or they are companies that they're looking, to differentiate themselves in the market. So that's how I got into coaching. And myself, depending on the conversation that I have, I can use more coaching tools, more advisory tools, more consulting tools, more recruiter tools. But that's a little bit behind. And then within coaching, I specialize in career coaching, career strategy, and leadership coaching. That is basically the most of the projects that I do is with in those matters.
Yeah, that's really inspiring. I also believe that your maybe engineering background and scientific background helps also you to understand maybe more people like with also scientific background, not only in executive, right? Or in high management.
Yeah, we scientists, we are very
Open.
we are very open to discuss. We are very open to theories, to share ideas, but also we are good in conceptualizing, and putting names to things, and that scientific mindset of working with different reactions and see what is the limited reaction, and see how the combination of different factors could make us a great end product. Definitely that mindset, scientific or engineering mindset, definitely helped me provide a different approach to the people industry. That at the end of the day, it's all about people, but science and people are very related, even though sometimes we try to separate them. They are very related, interrelated each other.
Absolutely. So my next point regarding LinkedIn or any other online network, I think I have LinkedIn since maybe 10 years ago, but I started using it like more actively after the pandemic. And I heard this question from a lot of scientists and researchers, like, do we really need to be in LinkedIn? Because it's like more like business, maybe with business-based business. So what are your tips for those who struggled to make networking in science work?
So I think on LinkedIn, it definitely has become the go-to network for a lot of different professionals with a lot of different backgrounds. What I like about this social network in particular is that it is a very friendly, educated, respectful social network, and that is not that easy to find in the social network space. Some they are, some they don't. I think LinkedIn has a clear focus in professional and in networking in particular, and in creating win-win relationships. So I don't know your motivations to include LinkedIn, but if I would be a scientist that I would like to get into people that I believe they could impact, and we were saying about the power of generating new ideas and the power of the openness to share your ideas and to listen to someone else's ideas, and then to develop those ideas and mature those ideas to the next level, right? That's it's all about science. It's all about that scientific brainstorming where the magic happens, right? So that's it would be a great way to actually find someone else that has something in common, that is the scientist background, that is maybe a PhD, and get into a university, get into the dean of the university or the top scientist in a university. Most of them, they are on LinkedIn. Myself in particular, right now what I'm doing is I'm connecting to a lot of personalities in the sports industry and also in the book industry. So if I read a book that is life changing to me, that I liked what I read, I would connect with that person and I send him or her an email to, who knows, to share ideas. I've connected to different writers and I had great conversations with them about the ideas. Usually I usually connect with people that they work or they wrote a book in human resources or management or international careers or talent development. So it is a very rich type of conversation. So on that end, you can reach out to so many different people that they can add you so many things that, yeah, definitely I do feel that if your motivations are to share ideas and to be open to the market and to understand what other things and stuff, having a LinkedIn profile would be a very interesting thing to do, with not such a big downside, more people would know that you are a scientist and you are trying to transform the world with your research. So I think it's always a great idea, but it will depend to everyone.
Yeah, and I think we are also like a real example of networking, because I mean I saw one of your posts, I approached you, and you were also happy to talk in our webinar series. So really, well, this is an example.
I was going to say, I was going to talk about that, but it was great that you actually brought it up, because I was not sure if you were going to do so. Great, yeah, definitely. We did great networking. Hey, be open. You connected with me, and we were open to just share. Yeah.
Perfect. So also, how much time we need to spend on networking? Like this writing, posting, these small chats also takes time, and that is time that is taken from doing experiments, writing papers for us as scientists. So yeah, I've always had also that concern that we want us to get known by our scientific accomplishments more than our maybe network abilities. So what's your recommendation on that?
So two things. Networking is not about posting. Okay, so on LinkedIn, you may have a profile, but you can post or not. So that is different. That is create a personal branding, and they could be for a specific goal or whatever. So networking is the time that you would invest in talking with other scientific or other scientists or someone else. Sometimes we say, like, look, networking, it is not integrated in our scientist or scientific work, and it could be, and I think if your goal is to ensure that you get the most out of your scientist and research, just focus your networking efforts in talking to people that could help you develop your ideas and your research. So integrate networking as a learning tool to develop yourself much better as a scientist. And networking is a great learning tool. When I was you were asking me about how I became a coach. One of the things that I did when I became a coach, it was connecting to people that they were a coach before. And by doing that, I learned a lot of things that I didn't want to do and that I wanted to do. So it definitely helped me understand if coaching was a great way for me to develop myself. but when it comes to the science background and field, you can connect with other students around the world that they might be on the other side of the world, but they are doing the same projects. You can share ideas with them. You can, you can advance and progress a lot in what you're doing. And so on that end, it is not exclusive. It is inclusive. This should be part of my recommendation is that you include networking as part of your professional and scientific development. I'm a humanist, and I believe that I would learn more about the humanism by connecting and sharing experience with other people. And you may not know at start like why I'm talking to this guy or what I'm gonna get out of this conversation, but it will just flow. But definitely sharing ideas. If I were you guys, I would be connecting with everyone that is in the same industry, in the same field. You're in autism. There are people in neuroscience. There's people with projects. So there's a lot of different projects that they're doing across globally that you can share best practices, share trial and errors that you've done before. So I would strongly recommend that you implement networking as part of your scientific development.
Yes, absolutely. I attended like a conference, a virtual conference a month ago, and I gained, more contacts, and I network with more people than maybe in person. In person, so it was, yeah. It was very, very, very helpful. So I think my last question. We still have time. You mentioned in your presentation that networking is a win-win relationship. How would we do follow up with these connections and build relationships in a comfortable way?
So, that's a great question. And that's what I was telling you about being completely aware and conscious about what the other is saying and how you could help someone else. So there's a lot of different follow-up things that you could do. But for example, you and I, let's put our conversation, you connected with me. I get to know you guys. I talk to the different people that I met at QBRI, and it was a great experience. Moving forward, you can send me a follow-up email and say like, hey Javi, I had a great experience. I would like to connect with you and talk to you about what I'm doing and stuff. Or I would just ask you hey, let's do a follow-up call and get to know each other, and we have time to share our experience in a foreign country, or to share experience in science, to share experience in our areas of expertise. Or it's just sending a training, a certificate, or it's just connecting to someone else. Hey Salam, I know the other day I met this guy, and I know that you can help him a lot, a lot. I'm connecting you guys. So it just have to come naturally, the same way that we build natural relationships with friends, just by having plans together, and that doesn't feel awkward to us. We just need to prepare plans for other people, and it just need to make sense, and needs to be, people would like to, they need to be engaged to it. But it is much more simple than people think.
Thank you, Javier. Let's go over now the audience questions. We will have now the first question. Okay. Thank you for the interesting session. I presented a conference in November 2019, and there was a guy who gave me his contact to text him for a work opportunity. I did text him and received no reply. I'm interested to retext again, but I'm worried that it wouldn't be professional. Do you recommend a certain approach?
Okay. So that happens a lot, right? People, and again, this is not. Um, I would say there was a guy who gave me his contact testing for a work opportunity. I would say I would question if this would be a networking event or a casual conversation in a networking or in a trade show and a conference. So sometimes it happens that someone asks you to send you something, you invest the time, and they never respond or they never show up, and that is something that kind of brings us down, because we actually, all of us, we understand that the time is the same for everyone. So if we invest time and if you ask someone to invest time in you and you don't respond, then that doesn't seem fair. But anyhow, um, so all these things happens. You could actually get to approach him, not for the same purpose but for another purpose. You can relive, uh, make the conversation or the communication live again by actually sharing something that could be of a great interest. I know what company he is from or she is from, but it would be great if you have someone that is from the industry that you think it would be relevant for him, for her to know. Just have an introduction, an intro to the two of them. Hey, Peter, long time no see. The other day I met Mary, who worked in the same space than you do, and she told me great things about the industry. And I remember a conversation back in 2019. I let you guys coordinate from here. Pete, I'll send you a separate email. Looking forward to talking to you again. But so you kind of generated a new possibility by exploring other options. So that definitely could be a good approach. But obviously, I would need to have more information. But definitely, I think to kind of generate reanimate the conversation with just bringing another matter that would add value to the person that told you to send your resume would be extremely helpful for you. Just forget about what he said, and then just focus on something that could be of great interest, not only for the person that you are introducing to him, but also for him. People from the same industry, people with the same background. Think about those ideas.
Okay. Next question. It can be to selectively choose what needs to be displayed on one-page CV. Are there any techniques to create a brief and precise CV that meets the requirements?
Yeah, there's a CV customization. Well, so first of all, as a scientist, we work in so many different projects, and some of them would be more important or less important for a company A. So if we are applying for a company A and one of our projects was the most important for them, make sure that that project, has the more space in the resume. Okay. If we have the job description, make sure that we actually kind of adapt whatever you see in the job description, you put it in the resume, and then you adapt it to your experience. You know, adapting and customizing a resume, it is giving more weight for a specific experience, depending on what is relevant for the person that is reading. Always think about the person that is reading your resume. What would be relevant for the CV reader, for him or her to make you a call and call you? You need to think. If you think on what would be relevant for the other person, you start thinking about doing things for others, you'll get more chance to get a response. Obviously, if you're looking for, if you are a company, if the company is from an industry that you are an expert in, make sure that you highlight that the most, because sometimes you are looking for a job in the same industry that we did the thesis in, but sometimes it is a different industry. If it's the same industry, make sure that your thesis is like this. The weight of your thesis in the resume is the most important thing. If it's not, make sure that you provide relevant information for the person that is reading the resume. And it could be a 1 page or a 2 page. 1 page is fine, 2 page is also fine, as long as you have information that is relevant. This is like, we don't project ourselves the same way with our friends that with our family or with our work colleagues. To each of them, we show a different side of us. With our friends, we are one way, and we joke around. With our family, with our kids, we project ourselves another ourselves. And with our colleagues, we are also different. So with companies, it is the same. With your resume, it is the same. Depending on who you're sending the resume to, you need to adapt it to the way that he or she would be more interested in reading.
Perfect. Next question. Most science-based degrees provide enough foundational knowledge on networking or communication skills. Do you think this is something that needs to be integrated into our educational system?
Well, that's an amazing question, and it could be it's definitely this transforming the society in the sense of my overall approach to education is that we need to find a fine balance between concepts and social skills and interpersonal skills and so once we find that fine balance between having a strong conceptual training, we also need to encourage our people to develop themselves personally, because most of the times you've been in you were at primary school, secondary school, high school, then you go to the university, then you start working with another scientist in the university to do your thesis, and then you end up in the corporate world, and everything that you did before is completely different. It's like, I wish someone would have helped me to understand this a little bit more, right? So networking or talking to other people and sharing other experiences throughout your career could definitely help you to see other ideas, other approaches, other perspectives. I'm here talking to in a university in Qatar. So my I would never have been able to do this if I wouldn't have worked my networking and my ability to learn about other cultures and what are the different environments where people develop their lives, right? So definitely I do feel that the not only networking but also just the interpersonal skills, working as a team, and bringing the corporate world to the academic world, it is a necessity. And that is something that I'm a chemist, and myself, the first day that I started in a company was like, yeah, I know a lot about the periodic table. I know about electrons and neutrons and protons and stuff, but I don't know about people, or I just have to learn. Sometimes it comes naturally to you, but sometimes definitely having someone that is going to help you and push you and show you the power of a tool is going to help you develop. So if you don't have that natural talent, it would be great that we are raised that way. So, you have that mentality, open mentality to also share new ideas, and that having that openness, it is actually great for any type of argument, political, idea, argument, everything. You become much more open, and you are not black and white. You are open to other different cultures and in learning, and it is an enriching process. Learning is an attitude. It's not paying and investing time in a specific certification. So the learning attitude is 24/7, and you can learn from everyone, from your kids, from your colleagues, from everyone that you are talking to. At the end of the day, is being present. Obviously, this is the ideal situation, and during our day, sometimes we are present, sometimes we are not. But if we have that mindset, usually, your openness and awareness and awakeness to share new ideas and to learn is higher.
Thank you very much, Javier. Learning is an attitude. I really like, and we will end with this great advice. In the interest of time, so we will conclude, and thank you very much, Javier, again. It was really inspiring to hear from you today, and thank you all for joining us today. As always, if there are any other topics that you would like us to cover in future webinars related to career development in science, please feel free to send us an email. I would like also to thank the great team running the show behind the scenes, Dr. Adviti, Mr. Omar, and Mrs. Reem from QBR Communications Office. Have a great afternoon, everyone. Stay well and stay inspired. And thank you.
Bye to everyone. It's been a pleasure talking to you, all of you.
Thank you.
Adios.
Adios.